Whoa, 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 whoa. Good evening, Trainiacs. That track and we just like this some days. You know, the workout actually went pretty well. It's 8 times 600 meters at sub 10K race pace of 224 per 600. And I ended up doing them on an average of like 218. The last one going 215. Not bad, not bad. All the soccer kids are coming, so it's time to leave. But today, we're gonna talk about how you can get the same effect as all those pros who are going and moving to Boulder to get that training at altitude benefit in their blood system. You can get it for free without moving. Wins all around, hey? Okay, so very quickly, the benefits of training at altitude start when you get up to around 5,000 feet. Boulder is around 5,300 feet, but it's more pronounced when you get at 8,000 feet and above. And at that altitude, what happens is because the air is thinner, there's less oxygen molecules in the air, so your body ends up compensating for this, allowing it to continue to function by creating more red blood cells. And then when you come down to sea level, you have more red blood cells and you can pump more oxygen to the muscles. At least that's the theory. Now, the benefits of this last for anywhere between about 10 and 20 days, but the question is then, well, why aren't all races, like every single race, won by somebody who is from Boulder or high up in the mountains in Argentina? Is that mountainous? Colombia. Well, pro triathlete Matt Russell was watching me suffer in Boulder and he messaged me on Instagram, and what he said was this: I've lived and trained in multiple places at altitude. Boulder, Colorado for a few years, Colorado Springs for a year, Estes Park, Colorado, Salt Lake City, Utah, Medellin, Colombia, Mammoth Lakes, California. I love training in the mountains, but with how much I race and travel, it's hard to be consistent with altitude training, and I found that my races were yo-yoed because of it. Some great races and some flat races. So number one, it doesn't affect all athletes the same way. So you could have 100 athletes that go and train at altitude, and maybe half of them are going to get benefit from it, half aren't. In addition to that, when you get to altitude, your top end for basically the entire time that you're there is really hard to tap into because you can't process as much oxygen. You aren't going to be able to work as hard. And when it comes to us age groupers, I am a huge believer that speed work is one of the most critical things that we can do. We have to build the ability to go fast in all of our races because we aren't athletes by nature. Us age groupers will really benefit from teaching our body how to move fast, and that really top end anaerobic intensity also helps shed fat. So again, we aren't these genetic freaks of nature that have 8-packs and can eat ice cream and pizza all we want, but those intense workouts help battle the fat that we accumulate from our normal lifestyles. But you don't get to do that in altitude. Now, it's also not an exact science. In a lot of cases, what works well for you, training at altitude and then coming down a race at the beginning of the year, isn't going to work the same at the end of the year. And for that, we have the example of Chris McCormick, world champion in Kona. Amazing athlete, but he showed up to Kona in 2013 completely flat and pulled out of the race. And he explained it like this: I just think I was useless on race day and it didn't correlate to where I was in my training or how fit I was. I was in incredible form, and for the first time in the prep for Kona, we used altitude as a tool. Usually they say you should come down from altitude 3 weeks or 3 days before a race, but we thought we could get it right at 11 or 12 days. On race day, I couldn't get my power above 250 watts, which is embarrassingly low for me. I was tired, weak, and just lost time all day. On the swim, I felt good early and then just struggled. It was like I just felt flat. You know when you've been ill for a week and you come back for that first session, that weak feeling? It was like that from the onset. The only thing that seems to add up is when we came down from altitude. So, what a better way to do it, and something that is accessible to basically everyone. Heat training. Heat training is a better way to do it. It has almost as many of the benefits with far fewer drawbacks as far as cost, accessibility, enjoyableness. I mean, who doesn't like going into a sauna at the end of a hard workout? I'll elaborate. So heat training has been proven to increase blood plasma volume levels and strengthen the left ventricle in the heart, allowing you to access more oxygen. Same thing that altitude does. In addition to that, heat training also increases your sweat rate. You're going to start sweating earlier, allowing your body to cool down, delaying the perception of fatigue, something that altitude can't do. Then in addition to that, what you can do with heat training that you can't really do at altitude is you can still get those really intense sessions like I just did today. And ideally, how you do this is after your last really intense session of the day and you don't have any other sessions left, perfectly, this is done after a run when your core temperature is already really high. You go into a sauna for 20 to 30 minutes. Don't take in fluids during that time in the sauna, because what we're looking to do is basically give our body the stress of dehydration. And then that is going to cause the adaptation, because your body's going to be like, oh, I'm constantly getting dehydrated. I have to prepare for this. But then you go and right after the sauna session, you slam a bunch of fluids, so you're not going to be detrimentally affecting your recovery or just like your overall well-being. And just think about it. I would guess that probably 90% of you, especially those who have memberships at a gym, have access to a sauna. But how many of you have the time and the money to go and essentially move to Boulder, Colorado, or altitude, or wherever it might be, and do all of your training there just so you can come down and potentially have an improved performance? Pros do. But other than that, it's not really practical for us age groupers, so we do it in other ways. And here, look at this. Basically, this is a hack. You know how I hate the term hack? This is a hack because you will be improving your performance, your endurance, you'll be recovering better, all just by like chilling out. Doing one of the most enjoyable things that you can do after a really hard session, just relaxing in a sauna. Theoretically, you could cut back some of your training, not have to train as much or as intense, and still reach the same performance levels. Perhaps. Now let's compare the two. The effects of altitude training and heat training last roughly 2 weeks. The results vary from person to person, so both of those issues are a complete wash. With heat training, you can still do really intense training, but at altitude, that's a lot harder. So, bing for heat. And the cost of heat training is essentially nothing if you already have access to a gym that has a sauna. Bing. So there you go, Trainiacs. That is the benefit of heat training and how all of us can get similar effects that the pros get by going and training at altitude. If you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button below. And if you are subscribed, if we were in a sauna, we'd be like best pals. You know those really old creepy best pals that sit in there naked and they chat for half an hour? We'd be like that. It's also NTK.